Hello, Leo. Welcome to your weekly reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. If you're watching this reading was meant to find you. Please hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Leo, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. All right, Death card. Don't freak out. The Death card is a very good card. I know it gets a bad rap. There's a lot of negative stigma attached to the Death card, right? Because it's death. Nobody likes death, right? But what this card really is about the fundamental force of the universe: change, transformation, evolution. It should really be called the rebirth card, or even the life card, right? Or the change card, but all those terms maybe lack the grip that death does, right? It's meant to get your attention, yeah. And this is, I think, this is a time in your life where transformation is really a big focus, okay? And with the Death card, it's usually a slow and steady transformation. Now, you're somebody that can see the long-term effects of something. You don't just need immediate gratification, right? You're somebody that can see the small changes building up over time, leading to greatness, right? Leading to your goals, leading to not only your external life goals, you know, the career stuff, the school stuff, the sort of the external environment things, but the internal goals. Who do you want to be? Who are you becoming? Who are you transforming into, right? I think you're somebody with a very strong awareness of that. I think you're somebody that has experienced some loss in life, okay? That you are not, you don't hide your head in the sand to some of the more darker aspects of this life that we live, right? But I feel like those sort of subjects allow you to more deeply appreciate what you do have, right? You're somebody that loves strongly, right? That really aspires to things that go beyond just the surface level of life. You're a very deep person. You feel deeply. You love deeply. And I think you desire deeply, right? This card is about you knowing how change really takes place, knowing the process, knowing how it sort of works. And it's not usually just a big leap from that end to that end, right? It's usually a bunch of little steps in between, a bunch of gradual character development, right? That's taking us in the direction that we want and will to go. This is very good energy. Let's put a little bit of energy around it, though, okay? Let's see what else is going on in your life and where this energy might be best applied in your life. Whoa, we've got the Sun card now. I feel like you're getting ready for a really major awakening. Okay. Well, before we get too deep, let's put more cards out. We have a Knight of Swords. We've got the Hanged Man, sure. The Eight of Wands, yes, that's interesting too. And the Fool, wow. I think this is a big leap. I think this is a lot of the incremental work. You've been putting in a lot of hours, you know. I think it's finally leading to that big fated change, you know, that big amazing opportunity, or that big major leveling up, or that major breakthrough that sort of is the result of all of this previous energy building up. I'm expecting a tower somewhere, but even the Eight of Wands and the Fool, sort of, you know, all these things kind of suggest a tower card anyway. But let's continue the rest of our cards. But if there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Okay. Seven of Swords. Princess of Wands. Ace of Wands, yes. And a Three of Cups. This is something very rewarding for you. Very, very rewarding. Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. Please excuse my voice today. It's, I don't know if I'm getting sick again or if it's just some allergies or, I'm not really sure. But anyway, mystery card over here with Mr. Tao, our yin yang duck, to go right on top now. We're not going to look at that card till the end. Okay. It is going to tie everything together. It's going to give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If you have a prediction for that card, please put it in the comments down below. Let's take a look around the room. I see an interesting thing here. The interesting thing that I see, of course, is this major arcana energy. A lot of it. And it's all concentrated right here. Past, present, and future. And this is the moment, I think, where you get this big transitional awakening. This is the sun, I think, that really, it's like a light bulb has gone off. It's like this death energy, the slow, gradual progress. Suddenly, the light dawns, right? It's kind of like nighttime has lasted a long time, and then suddenly, like that, it's daylight, We've been working our way up. We've been building up to it, right? And of course, the Hanged Man and the Fool couldn't be more different. This is self-sacrifice, and this is just pure self, right? This is just, this is pure freedom. This is almost a selfishness. Selfless, selfish, right? And of course, this is the self. The sun is the self, So I think that you are about to experience a major awakening that is the result of a long time, I was going to say a lifetime, but a long period of sacrifice and hard work and, long days and late nights, right? A lot of hours. And it's all coming to a head. And this is a big transition into a new way of life, new opportunities, a new feeling of joy, a new feeling of freedom, right? The Fool energy. This is the central card in our reading today. It's right in the middle of the table. Okay. We've got a lot of fire too. 1, 2, 3 fire cards. We've got our water up here. Now, the Hanged Man is also a watery card. It's pure water, right? It's a baptism by water. We've got water over here, but this feels like now the water of the sacrificial waters, or the baptismal waters, now have become holy waters. All of that sacrifice, all of those days and nights, maybe years, where you have chosen to say no, right? And the Hanged Man is one of those cards that says, hey, you want to go, you want to go out and have some drinks with us? No. I'm focusing on something, This is, I think, really your ability to say no to yourself. All these things that you really, those immediate desires, that gratification that you want right now, you've learned to say no. I'm focused on what I'm doing. I've got goals. I got work to do. I've got discipline, I heard an anecdote. I can't remember who it was from, but somebody would take a Post-it note and write the word no with an exclamation point, and they'd stick it to their computer monitor. Because when they were working, when they were focused on something, when they were just sort of hunkered down and they were getting to it, they would learn to say no to any kind of invitations, any kind of temptation or opportunity for gratification that wasn't essential to what they were doing right now. It's a form of discipline, learning to say no to ourselves, which then means, of course, that we have to say no to people who are inviting us places and all this sort of thing. And anyway, this is in your background, okay? So I think that you have a history, really, of saying no to yourself, no to people, and say, no, I'm working, I'm doing stuff, and now I don't know if this is career or if you're retired, if this is self-work, spiritual work, emotional work, if this is creative work, or if it's a family kind of thing. But the Hanged Man in that position, there's a history there of you saying no to yourself and no to others because you have that focus, because you are fixed on your goals and you're doing your work. You've got discipline, right? I think you're being rewarded for all of that now, okay? Because, you see, this is in the past, yeah? This is in the past. Now, we've got a Knight of Swords underneath the surface. This is fire and air, very active energy. And this, I think, is your innate ability. This is your innate ability to make those kinds of quick decisions. But this is also your ability to kind of see the future. I feel like you're someone who can really predict how things are going. Like you can see 5-10 moves ahead of the game. I don't know if you know about this ability that you have, though, right? Because it's underneath the surface here. It's down beneath everything. It could be that this is a quality of your soul, your psyche, your personality, that you may not be so aware of, right? Or what I'm kind of thinking instead is that this is something that is a foundational quality for you. This is the card upon which everything else rests, okay? And I think this is your ability to see 5 or 10 steps into the future. So when we have to say no to things, and of course, the Fool is saying yes to everything, right? It's kind of the discipline, the freedom through discipline here. If you want a life where you can say yes to everything, you got to learn how to say no to everything first. And that's, I think, what you've done. And the Knight of Swords is the one that can do that, can think quickly. Is not even, we don't have to think about it a lot. Of course, we got a little bit of more air energy over here in your general energy, but this is that innate ability. It is part of your character, okay? Well, you can make quick decisions. You don't have to overthink it, okay? When you're in that zone, when you're in that flow, when you're on that frequency, you can say no. You know which things, it's almost instinctual. You want to go out for a couple of drinks? No. And maybe you're not rude about it, right? But that decision comes quickly to you. Because you can see 10, you can already see 10 steps ahead. Well, I go out for a couple of drinks, it becomes a few hours, I'm tired tomorrow, and here I've lost like a whole day of the focus that I've been doing. It's kind of, we're getting out of our discipline there. You could see how that isn't going to play out. But then on the other hand, if you say no, you can see how that's going to play out too. All right, I say no, I can't go out and go to a party tonight. I'm going to focus on my studies or my work or my spiritual practice, or I'm going to spend time with, my family or whatever it is. And you can see how that's going to actually lead to more. That's going to lead to more progress in your chosen direction. Okay? So you have that ability to see. It's like you know how things are going to play out. So this allows you to have that very strong discipline. Okay. I want to go back to the Sun card here, because the Sun, to me, feels like this is going to be the realization of all of your hard work. It's going to materialize. It's going to burst forth, right? It's going to shine. It's going to be radiant. It's going to be very obvious and very clear. It's kind of, to me, with the Death card and the Rebirth, it's like this is a resurrection of sorts, right? The Hanged Man has chosen this life, and of course now being reborn into this Fool energy, this freedom, this ability to say yes to everything, right? This is a rebirth for you. This is that once-in-a-lifetime big fated change that you've been working toward and willing into your life. And that Sun card is that enlightenment. It is that waking up. Okay, I think that it is a rebirth or a resurrection. I think that everything you have suffered through in your life, a self-imposed, discipline, and what is it? What do they call it? A self-imposed winter or whatever they, right? What is that, the phrase? Or like an intentional winter, where we hunker down, we focus on what we need to do, we conserve our resources, we stay disciplined, right? And then, of course, all of that builds up, and it's leading to something. It's leading to now it's summertime, right? And that's kind of like, this is this is winter and summer, or if you want to say this is the green man of spring, then this might be autumn. But this is the sun now in just full radiance. Okay? It's the attainment of your goal right now, whatever that goal is, whatever you've been working so hard to achieve, whatever you have been saying no to your own immediate desires and to these sort of opportunities around you, these temptations, let's say. The reason why you've been hanged man, right, is for this. And here it is, right on top. It's been slow, gradual change. And now I think that light is just bursting forth. To me, this is a new awakening. This is like a brand new morning. This is a new day, new life kind of feeling, right? Now, up at the top here with that 8, the 8 of Wands, it's a quickness, right? I think that you're somebody who, you, like with the Death card, you understand that things don't happen overnight. You're also, I think, very aware that once this awakening happens, things are going to start picking up speed, you know? It's the sort of the slow energy of winter breaking forth or giving way to this very excited energy of spring and summer, right? Because the 8 of Wands is it's a quick energy. It's flashes of insight, flashes of ideas. It is a lot of possibilities. A lot of things are firing. You know, your neurons are just like going nuts. You know, you got a lot of ideas, a lot of things you want to do. There's this buildup of energy. And of course, the Fool is going to take that energy and kind of run with it. But I think that you're somebody who, you used to be a very anxious person. I'm feeling like you've gotten a little bit of control over that. By developing this discipline, I think you've done a lot for your own sort of, your nervous system, you know? I think you've probably been involved in a meditative practice, or at least some breathing exercises, or I think, more than that, I think you've been doing some very intentional physical movements, stretching, light hatha yoga, or tai chi, qigong, something like that. Something that has very fluid movements. Maybe you've been doing some kind of judo or something like that as well. But I feel like you're somebody who needs to discharge your kind of static electricity. You know, it builds up too much. It's going to start just, you know, zapping everybody that you touch. And so we've got to find a way to discharge that. And I think that you are very aware that in order to maintain your discipline, you have to have that physical release in terms of the movement, the motion, and I think really getting grounded. I think allowing, I can see you out, you know, with bare feet on the grass doing your Tai Chi, that sort of thing. Okay. I think if you're not doing anything like that, I think it would be very good for you, because I feel that sometimes in this intense discipline, a lot of this static electricity gets built up in you. Okay. You're the kind of person that has a lot of ideas, you know? And I can see that as we get to the 7 of Swords too, I can see that you have a lot of these ideas, and it gives us a little bit of anxiety sometimes. Because we think, okay, I'm so disciplined on this thing, and this is taking me a long time. This is a commitment, right? There's so many other things that you want to do in life. You're somebody with a lot of ideas, a lot of like long-term goals and desires, and you want to do a lot of things in your life. It makes it difficult to have this kind of discipline in this particular area. Whatever you're doing, if this is a work thing, career, if this is a creative project, maybe you've been writing a novel for the last few years, and it's just like you've got to have the discipline. There's a lot of other things you want to do in life. Yeah, for sure, you know. It makes it hard to have this discipline, so we need to be aware that the anxiety can start to grow when we force this discipline on ourselves. We start to get kind of antsy for some other kind of something different, some other outlet, some other activity, right? And I think that's really important, especially when we get to the path of the serpent. But let's talk about the Fool in the future position. You're about to step into a new life, a life that is full of freedom, a life that is stimulating. It is arousing your curiosity. It's a new world where you are wide-eyed and ready. And I think that this is a card that says yes to everything. Hanged Man, right, says no. This is now a big post-it note on your I don't know, bathroom mirror that just says yes with an exclamation point. No longer it's the no. At your computer, you got the big no because you're working. This is it. I'm focused. Got to do it. Got to stay disciplined. Now that this thing is successful, there's been this materialization. All that hard work now is coming to a head. Now we can take that post-it note off and stick on the really big neon sign that says yes. And I think that you are sort of ready to go hog wild with it. But we got to be careful with that. We don't want to be reckless. I think it is a way for all of this Eight of Wands energy to finally be released. And now when I say yes, I don't just mean that you are now going to go out and all those days that you said no to go into the party, now you're going to just have all those parties to just string them together one night after the other. I don't think it's that. I think it's all of these things that you, all of these other ideas that you have, these other intentions, these other deeper desires, these other aspirations. Now the Fool can say yes to all of those. So what you're doing here might be even bringing you some kind of, I think it's bringing you an energetic freedom, right? Freedom now to not be so strictly disciplined in this particular area of your life. Now you can sort of go walk about, right? Now you can go explore. And I think, honestly, that eventually you'll find something else that is extremely important to you, and you will have that discipline again over here, and the Hanged Man will be right back in play. But as far as transitioning out of having this rebirth energy, out of this past intense period of discipline, the Fool's got to go and have an exploration, right? So the Fool is saying yes to all of these ideas. The Fool is saying yes to new experiences. Now going outside, accepting the invitations. You don't have to stay in your house and be just sitting at the computer focused on this novel or whatever it is. Now you can say, okay, now I'm going to go on vacation. Now I'm going to go spend time with my friends. Now I can let myself have these other enjoyments and do all these other things and explore the world a little bit. I think maybe even there's this idea of financial freedom, that whatever you're doing now, because we don't have any earth energy here. I want to point that out. We don't have any pentacles. Okay, no pentacles. But the Sun card itself is a card of wealth. Okay, it's the card of having the means, having the resources. The sun is always shining. The sun, for all intents and purposes, is eternal. Will never stop shining its light. Now, I know that's not astronomically correct. But, let's go with the spirit of the thing, okay? It's always going to shine its light. It's always going to have that resource there. And so I feel like this is kind of saying that there's a certain freedom that you are creating through this discipline that you have. And that is the energetic freedom, but also mental emotional freedom, and this sort of creative freedom. And maybe it has to be sort of based on this financial freedom. Okay? That you've set yourself up in a way where you can go do other things that you like. You can pursue other interests. You can explore different relationships and different commitments, and you can travel to places. You can find different things that you want to do in your life. Until, I think, because of your nature, you'll find another thing that you want to focus on and have that discipline toward. Okay, so the Fool energy. Very good. This is what you're creating. This is the axis mundi of the reading, is the very center of the tarot table today. All the other cards are swirling around this. This is the galactic center for you. Okay? And everything else is spiraling around this galactic center. And that is the Fool. That is your freedom. That is your ability to say yes to everything. And you're somebody that knows. You got to say no to things now if you want to say yes to the really important stuff later. It's having discipline. Discipline equals freedom. Okay? On the path of the Serpent, 7 of Swords. Futility. I think this is great as your general energy. You're somebody that does not succumb to the opinions of others. You got your friends, you got your family kind of telling you, you should take a break. I don't see why you're doing that. And, you're wasting your time. You don't hear any of that. I think there is criticism coming in. You're not being moved by that. Maybe you're running a restaurant. Your restaurant gets a sort of, lukewarm review in the papers. Who cares? Keep doing your work, right? I don't see that you are intensely moved toward negative emotion, right, by the complaints or criticisms, right, or the critical energy coming in from outside. Keep an eye on your own self-criticism, okay? Sometimes we need to have that self-criticism to keep us focused, to keep us improving, right? If I just think I'm the best tarot reader that ever lived, that's it, then I'm going to fail completely. Crash and burn, I've got to challenge myself. I've got to say, okay, you know what? I don't understand these cards as deeply as I need to. I need to keep meditating on them and studying them and invoking them and working with these energies. I've got to keep at it. We've got to keep learning. We've got to keep growing. So this is sometimes the card of that negative criticism, but that's not all it is, right? And sometimes it feels like, if I just resist the criticism, the negative energy, I'll be fine. We have to resist also the flattery. Someone who's intensely moved by criticism or flattery is a leaf in the wind, right? There are a million of them everywhere, as we know this time of year, and they sort of just fly all over the place. You sweep them one side of your driveway, or you rake them in one side of your lawn, and then the wind blows them to the other side. It's nonsense, right? So we have to be careful of that. And thankfully, this is in your general energy. I think you are somebody that tries to be rather objective with yourself. You choose some sort of criticism and says, I'm not as good as I think I am. Okay, true. At the same time, I'm a lot better than I thought I was, right? Both need to be true at the same time. Keeps us balanced. It keeps us steady and firm and strong in the midst of these winds that are trying to blow us. It's like now we might be a leaf still, but we're made out of solid lead, solid gold or whatever, something heavy. I don't know. I don't know what the tungsten, what's the heaviest metal? I don't even know what it is. Anyway, that's what we're made out of. Because this card is about us trying to stay on the straight and narrow, trying to keep our mental focus, stay sharp, stay frosty. Don't succumb to the flattery. Certainly don't succumb to the criticism. Okay? And this is your secret weapon. This is how you've done it. Okay? And you're doing it. So, next card then is our Princess of Wands. Princess of Wands is in the environment. Princess of Wands is talking about your relationships. Not necessarily with a particular person, but your relationship with the environment itself. I think this card shows you discharging some of your built-up static electricity, or that the accumulation of that creative energy, that fire energy, right? Shows you discharging it through your environment, through being outside of your body, getting outside of your head, getting outside of your heart and your soul and spirit and all this creative work. Something that connects you with, I think connects your body to the physical world around you. I think that is very important for you. Whether it's just, it's a sensory experience. Because, we get too cerebral with stuff. You're sitting there, I don't know if this is your thing, you're at a computer working on your book, and we're so in our heads, we stop to even feel our fingers clicking on the keys, I bet you're a fast typer too. It's just like, it's like we're not even in our bodies anymore, So this card is talking about you getting outside, or at least, getting away from your work in order to discharge some of this energy. Through the physical movement, through stretching, you stretch, you're able to feel it, you do some light hatha yoga, and you feel the strain of some of these poses, right? My favorite is the corpse pose. There are a lot of ways that you can get in touch with your body and connect your body with the material world around it. Yeah, I think that's very, very important for you. And this could, again, like walking barefoot on the grass, hugging some trees. I know that sounds silly, but the rough bark of the trees against our sensitive skin. It's an interesting contrast, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for contrast. Because when we get into the zone of our work, there's no contrast. We are a flow. We are just energy moving. We are light moving forward in one direction, right? What this card needs is contrast. And so this is taking yourself out of your work periodically to have contrast. You've been looking at something close here. Sometimes you got to just look at something far, far away for a couple hours. Spend some time just like looking across the yard at the other side of the neighborhood or something. Long distance, right? There's a contrast there. And for me, now I've been wearing glasses since I was, I don't know, I guess I got my glasses when I was about 10. So a long time. It's very difficult to go from something close range to then, let's say, get in the car and have to look in the distance, or to go outside and try to look at things far away, right? We need the contrast. And so this is doing those things that bring contrast into your life. Yeah, it's like we get so, let's say a hot bath, right? You're in a hot bath, hot water, you're sitting, eventually the water doesn't feel warm anymore. So what do? We put more hot water in because we've sort of acclimated. Right, the water's cooled down some, yes, but our skin is heated up some too, and we've just sort of, there's a equilibrium that's established. There's no contrast anymore. It's the same principle as in a way, the contrast hot and cold showers. When you do very hot water for a few minutes, then you do very, very cold water. My daughter likes to call it Arctic cold. And it's that contrast, It's our soft skin and the rough bark of a tree. It's our sensitive, ticklish feet and then the little blades of grass that are tickling our feet as we walk, Get out there and do something, basically, is the thing. It doesn't have to be outside. Maybe the weather's not good. There are things we could do in our house, Stretching and the light exercise or Tai Chi or anything that's going to give you a body awareness, okay? Now, this card is also, like I said, talking about your relationships. It is your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your environment, but also other people in your life. When we're in this intense discipline, sometimes we can be a little temperamental with people around us. That when I say we have that big sign that says no with an exclamation point, and we don't want to be rude about it. Sometimes the Princess of Wands isn't really aware of how they're reacting to people. And in fact, it is just that. It is a reaction. Kind of just being short with people around us, Let's just be careful with that. But it's a side effect of being so intensely focused on your work that anything that threatens to take you out of that flow, right? When you're writing that chapter of your book and you're just in the zone, and then the dog's barking or like someone's knocking at your door or something, it's just like, it's frustrating because it snaps you out of it, yanks you from that. It's a concentration. It's a meditative, flow when you're in that zone, right? Now, the Ace of Wands is interesting here. The Ace of Wands is in the difficult position. It's kind of the card you don't want right now. Why would you not want the Ace of Wands? It is that great idea. It is that central focus. Well, I think part of the reason here is between the Eight of Wands and the Ace of Wands. Because we have all of these ideas, it's difficult for you to focus on just the one. You have such a creative mind, and you know you do, right? You know that you could be very good at anything you put your mind to. Anything you have, if you sense you have this power of discipline, as we've seen with all these cards, you can do anything you want in life. If you can put that discipline into that thing, you can be amazing at it. You can succeed. You can reach any level of success that you want. Of course, taking into account, sort of our nature and the environment itself. Our physical limitations and genetic limitations and the limitations of the environment that we're in. Otherwise, sky's the limit. And so it's difficult for you to, I think, decide. And we kind of have this problem with, it's kind of the paradox of freedom, or the decision fatigue, where we've got to decide what we're going to focus our energy on. Once we do, and if we have that discipline, we're climbing the ladder. We're going all the way. But the difficult part for us, I think, is picking that thing. What do I do? This sort of paradox of freedom is like, okay, well, what do I do with my life? What do I do now? What do I focus on? Yeah, I've got talent. I've got skill. I'm smart. I've got the ability to be very disciplined. I've got the will to succeed, but what do I do? So it's difficult, I think, for us to put all of our energy into one thing, So that's something that you're going to have to, feels to me anyway, that's always going to be the obstacle for you. But like I see in the central flow of this horizontal path on the path of the dove, that you've done that. You've picked the thing and you've sacrificed for it. You have the discipline and you're achieving that success, and you're achieving the rewards and the freedom that's resulting from that. I think as time goes on, you're going to be confronted with this again. This is always going to be your river to cross. Just deciding what to do next. But the thing about discipline is that it takes away that decision fatigue. Because I don't have to think, what am I going to do today? What's my schedule look like today? What am I going to have for breakfast? What am I going to wear? No, you have the discipline. It's like it's already established for you. You have a routine. You have a schedule. And it's that discipline that's saying, I don't have to worry about what I'm going to do later. I know what I'm doing later. So then the only problem we have left, I think, is that paradox of freedom, where eventually it's going to come back around again, where we're free to do whatever we want. Okay, what do I want to do? I like the Three of Cups at the end here. This is beautiful, successful, celebration. This is abundance. This is love. Okay. This, I think, is great recognition for whatever you're doing. Yeah, whatever you put your mind to, whatever you set your will and your intention on, and you have the discipline toward, you're going to get a lot of rewards for it. It's going to feel good. It's going to be a celebration. Allow this Fool to say yes to that Three of Cups. Say yes to that celebration. Okay. And I think that this is also, this is recognition. So whatever you're doing, I think, is other people are going to see it, and they're going to sort of stand in awe at what it is. Okay, I don't know if it's a piece of art, if it is a novel, a book, if it is some business thing, if it is just some kind of effort in your family life. The people that you're doing this for are going to thank you for it. Okay, This is going to be very, very good. I want to look at the mystery card and see if this is going to be some of that earth energy. I'm sort of expecting the earth energy here, yeah? If you have a prediction, put it down in the comments. I kind of see a 6. Oh, I see, no, it might be a Wheel of Fortune, actually. Well, let's just see what it is. Oh, nope. Okay, it's a 4 of Wands. 4 of Wands is good. It confirms a lot of things. Okay. It confirms the completion of your work, of your project, right? But it also shows that this success or this conclusion, the completion of your work, is not the end of the road for you. And so that's confirming what I said about the ace, where it's going to come back around again, where you're going to be you're going to confront that paradox of freedom again that says, I'm free to do whatever I want. What the heck do I want to do? Because the 4, any of the 4s of the tarot, remind us of impermanence. And of course, that death card. The death card is always this slow, gradual progress. The death card never stops, right? Death is slow and steady. It's going to get to everybody, right? And so there's always this progress that's taking place. Even if we have this rebirth into this solar moment, this celebration, this wonderful full freedom, there's going to be more progress. There's still more work for you to do. There's still more life in you to live, you know? And this is a reminder that, hey, we're going to stop here. This is going to be absolutely wonderful. And then eventually you're going to have to confront that choice again. Okay, I have to put my effort and my will into the next thing. Am I going to write another book? Am I going to do something different? Am I going to start a business? You know, I feel like you're kind of I feel like you're very creative. There's a lot of possibilities out there for you. Maybe you're an entrepreneur, but I feel like, I kind of feel like you are like a writer or some sort of an artist or a creator, okay? But I'm not really sure. But anyway, this is a very strong confirmation. Now, another thing that's going to be a very strong confirmation is our extended reading. You can click on the link in the corner. There's a link down below. New readings for you, Leo, Tuesday and Saturday. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. It is totally free. Doesn't cost anything. Leave a comment to let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.